confidentially, with the Hasidim on each side listening carefully. "Tell me, Reb Oizer, how much is your estate worth today? The house, the brewery, the sawmill, the land, der ganze Esek. I don't know, maybe 30,000 ruch, maybe 40,000 ruch." Hasidim and Rebbe are quite impressed. "Reb Oizer, this is a tremendous sum. Your family can live nicely on this money for many years, if you make proper arrangements." "So tell me, Rebbe, what kind of arrangements do you suggest, so everything will be l'shem shamayim?" "Why, sure, I'm very happy you asked this question. It's good to see that you are thinking of the world to come. If you ask me, I suggest you divide your property into 3 equal shares. 1 share for your wife and your son Yankala, 1 share for the 3 girls, and the 3rd share you should leave to us, so that we can carry on the Lord's work." Signs of great approval by all Hasidim except Menachem. "In this way you will bring great honor to your name, and you will contribute to the glory of the Master of the world," joyfully slapping Reb Oizer on the back. "For is it not written in our holy Torah, Tehillah LeDavid, a psalm of David, 'I will exalt you, my Lord the King, and I will bless your name forever and ever'?" From this we learn that not just today will we praise the Lord, but also in the future we will ensure that the Lord can be served even after we leave this world. Reb Oizer indicates unqualified agreement. The Rebbe goes on, "And to commemorate your pledge, Reb Oizer, tomorrow I want you should bring us 50 bottles of your best schnapps from your brewery. We'll celebrate this great mitzvah you are doing for the Almighty." The Hasidim shake the hands of Reb Oizer and drink a toast to the Rebbe. Then they resume the song and dance, with a clear allusion to the Rebbe as the real master of the world. Buzzer and slide, Reb Menachem's interpretations. Menachem: "Rebbe, I would like to add a comment to your interpretation of the verse from the Psalm of David." Rebbe to Shabtai: "And who is this young man? I have not seen him here before." Shabtai: "His name is Menachem. They say he comes from Sasla, where he was put under the ban for his heretical views. Watch out for this one, Rebbe, he's a troublemaker. They say he's a lunatic. Yehuda heard him say he's been in the palace of the Messiah." Rebbe to Menachem: "Well, Shabtai tells me your name is Reb Menachem from the town of Sasla. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you to Schultz Rina, and I certainly would like to hear your opinion. One must welcome every chance to discuss our holy Torah with fellow Jews." Menachem: "Thank you, Rebbe. For years I have heard of the great and holy Rebbe Mordechai Daniel of Schultz Rina. Now that I am living in Schultz Rina and we are neighbors, I hope we may be able to share our views on Torah often in the future. For me this would be a great honor. I thank you, Reb Menachem. And now, what is it that you wanted to say about the Psalm of David, which I mentioned?" "All right, the psalm begins, Tehillah LeDavid, a psalm of David." "No, I wish to add, Rebbe, that this word Tehillah also has the connotation of mixture and confusion, as is written in Job 4:18. And in his angels he places Teholah, that is, in his angels he places confusion. The word Tehillah, prayer, and the word Teholah, confusion, share the same consonants, and so the oral tradition of the Torah allows us to infer some possible deeper connection between the 2 words. Rebbe: "Young man, are you questioning the literal written meaning of the Torah text which our father Moses, of blessed memory, received on Mount Sinai?" Menachem: "Heaven forbid, Rebbe. I merely wish to suggest an additional point of view concerning these holy words. Each new point of view allows us to receive additional light from our sacred Torah, especially in these difficult times of ours, in which there is so much pressure, both from within and from without of the Jewish world, to abandon the Torah and turn to heretical views. We are in need of more and more guidance from the Word of God." From now till the end of the scene, Reb Menachem gradually works himself up to a frenzy of prophetic zeal, until he has managed thoroughly to antagonize the Rebbe and his court. Menachem: "I'm sure you know what is going on in Berlin these days." The philosophers, the intellectuals, were the obscene salons where everyday young Jews are meeting gentle bohemians and intermarrying. This is the Taholah, the mixing and the confusion which is destroying the Jewish people. They call themselves maskilim, enlightened ones. But for them, enlightenment means throwing away the light of Torah altogether. Why, in times like these, there is even confusion about who is the true wise tzaddik and who is the scholar demon, twisting words of Torah to line his own pockets. Amid general uproar, insolent upstart, do you mean to suggest there is any question about who is our true Rebbe here in Schultzrina? Perhaps you mean to imply that the Rebbe is deluding our dear Reb Oizer for some dishonest purpose? Hey, Moshe, he thinks the Rebbe is just patiently waiting for you to die so he can chapwa your guilt. We know all about you, Reb Menachem. Reb Yehuda has just returned from a business trip to Saslav. He told us they have had enough of you there already. That's why you showed up here. The rabbis there put you under the ban for heresy. You and your bunch of phony penitents wailing in the forest all week long and living off the dole as parasites. I think he needs to learn a bit of Yiras Shamayim right now. How dare you question the honor of the Schultzrina Rebbe, our master and teacher, the great, pious, true, and godly leader of all the Jews of our generation, known far and wide for his learning in the domain of revealed and secret Torah and for his unshakable trust in God. Anyone who dares to defame our Rebbe must fall under the ban in this world and also in the next world. Of this there is no question. Let's get him! Look at him on Tish! Drubbing of Menachem begins. He receives a few blows. Then, like Popeye with a can of spinach, a sudden surge of superhuman strength possesses him. He breaks loose from the pile of bodies. He speaks while walking quickly, but with dignity, towards the ark where the Torah is kept. Upon arriving, he carefully removes the Torah. Oi, oi, Gott in Himmel, Rebbeinu shel Olam. Shh. Listen. Do you hear it? The Rebbe says, What? Do I hear what? What are you talking about? Shh! Don't you hear? Doesn't anyone hear it? How is it possible not to hear sounds at a moment like this? Mashogana! He's crazy! I tell you, he's dangerous! Menachem, quiet! Shh! Perhaps it is the sound of an orchestra I hear. Don't you hear it too? He begins dancing to the soft, slow, ethereal music only he and the audience hear. Rebbe, you'll excuse me, but I don't hear any orchestra or anything else. I don't hear anything unusual. Much consternation and whispering among the group as they watch Menachem dancing blissfully. Buzzer and slide, Shavuos 1806. Reb Menachem receives the Torah. Menachem continues dancing, slowing down or pausing from time to time to say the following. Now at the moment of the giving of the Torah, on our great festival of Shavuos, now I understand what we find in the Holy Zohar about how there is awe and there is awe. Now I know that there is yet another kind of awe, even more elevated than the supernal awe mentioned there. For now I know about the awe of godliness. This awe and fear is exalted and powerful in the extreme. Now, of course, in some sense, you can say, oh, well, but this Rebbe is representing our interests. Okay, so in some sense, he's a Shaliach Tzibur. All right, here's another sentence. The tzaddik who obtains this level can be the chazan and the people's messenger. Chazan, now let's take that word. Chazan means cantor, usually. But the root of that word is choser, to forecast, to predict, to see, a seer in the kind of a broad sense. In other words, a prophet. So if the process is happening purely, like I said, and maybe the purest example I could think of is a Gestalt therapy leader of a group of people he knows very well. In that sense, he's encompassing all their action patterns or their
monads in his own self as a monadology. He's the monadology of the encompassing. He's in a sense, the encompassing organism, the encompassing person who encompasses any other people. In a sense, are organs and cells in his organism. In that sense, this guy is he's a prophet. Okay, if he does it right, and if he really does know those people and does somehow empathize with their situations, it's conceivable to do that, to think of oneself as a prophet, integrating the awareness work of the life process of all of these people, at least to some extent. All right. And he can be a leader of the communal prayers in this inductive sense. All right? And if he empathizes with them, and the group also, having had this experience, emphasizes with him, empathizes with this leader, then everybody can kind of share in this explosion of authentic reality that constitutes the prayer session. But without even the prayer session, we just think that, even if, for example, going back to that moment at Diaspora Yeshiva there, while I was walking around there for that year, I was, in a sense, symbolizing that process happening. And even when we weren't praying, there was a sense of some kind of a community that's evolving and towards some kind of spiritual enlightenment, and the combination of the awareness process together with all the religious mumbo-jumbo that was going on in all their learning sessions was a very healthy balance. Unfortunately, I haven't had that experience again in all those years, partly because I didn't want to. I was too busy with other selfish ego trips myself. So that's 1981. It's been about 30 years, 81, 91. It's 30 years since I've actually participated in that experience, in that sense, in a holistic sense. Okay, but I'm doing it now. As a matter of fact, it's interesting. The internet opens up this possibility here. There's 23,000 people have looked or listened or whatever into my stuff. There have been 23,000 hits, approximately, in the past 6 or 7 months that my stuff has been on the web. And if any of those 23,000 people, or some of them or most of them, are somehow empathizing with this particular trip I'm on, and also empathizing with my own dream work sessions, so to some extent, a lot of you are empathizing and allowing me to serve that function for you, to the extent that you do empathize or participate or somehow or other identify with the trip that I'm doing, which, unfortunately, if I just think about it, puts me in a situation of being kind of a Jesus for this congregation here, which I don't want to be. Because Jesus, everybody projects his own psychology onto Jesus. Jesus is the one who has the super trip, and the rest of us are just kind of like mini trips. But the only reason that's the case in my case is because I haven't worked with the 20,000 people who are maybe looking. I haven't had a chance to. But that doesn't mean my trip is any better than anyone else's trip, okay? So that puts us closer to Judaism, because in Judaism the basic idea is that everybody's got this trip, potentially. Everybody's potentially has this Moses aspect of himself. I guess the Christians are, the smart ones anyway, would realize the same thing anyway about the Jesus trip. And so that's it. I'm not claiming any special priority here. I'm just Shaliach Tzipor. I am doing my job here the best I can in the circumstances to encompass and to symbolize the process of prayer philosophically as well as religiously, and that's combined sense. All right?